What's up, fellas? Hey, Georgia just got done, with the Clemson game. Hey, it looked extremely, iffy. Georgia was only up 6-0 against Clemson, but you have to give credit to Clemson's defense, man. Clemson quarterback Cade Klubnik, man, just does not have it, while Carson Beck absolutely torched the um Clemson, man, Tigers, they just did not have it. It just seemed like he was extremely scared, clubbing in the pocket. Unlike Georgia's offense during the program, the Bulldogs creeped slowly out of the parking lot in this opener. The cool hand Carson put the game on ice with a blistering second half. Nobody outperforms Beck on third downs. His third and 10 bullet to London Humphreys keyed Georgia's second, third scoring drive, man. Later Beck needed 9 yards to move the chains on another third down. He found a 40 yards in Humphreys for another touchdown. Brett Beck, who threw for 278 yards and two touchdowns, proved more precise than Klubnik did in this outing. He also benefits from better receivers. Beck will miss the security blanket provided by all American tight ends Brock Bowers, but he is forming a connection with Dylan Bell, Arian Smith, and Dominic Lovett in this game, man. And really, Beck added a wrinkle to his repertoire with a pair of slightly awkward but effective scramble runs for the first down. Georgia needed Beck's 297 yards of total offense because Clemson's defensive line played like a throwback to better days and bottled up Georgia's running backs for most of the game. So the thing, although Clemson delayed the route until the second half, the Tigers would have needed 34 quarters to match Georgia's 34 points. So, Georgia rules, man, and Clemson left to contend in the ACC wilted playoff rows. Unfortunately, Clemson just did not have it, man. So, while Clemson's fanatizes fleeing the ACC's Koopa favoring the conference with a richer payday, I wonder how could this Clemson hold up in the SEC, man. I cried foul when the Kangaroo Court, also known as the College Football Playoff Selection Committee, spurned undefeated Florida State last December. You know, an unjust decision. I thought then unprecedented certainly. Georgia quieted the controversy weeks later by creaming the unmanned Seminoles in the Orange Bowl, but the ACC official date with humility arrived this season. Florida State's melted into an Irish stew in week zero. Then Georgia made Sweeney's offensive fierce Tigers look like a defanged husk of dominant program it actually was. Playoff expansion means Clemson retains college football hopes. The conference race is wide open, and Clemson will contend in the ACC's wilted rows to the playoffs. And they'll surely be brief. When these teams last met in 2021, Georgia was still ascending, and Clemson clung by its claws to the last vestiges of the glory days. 3 years later, Georgia rules, NIL, and transfer changed the sport. Sweeney put his hands in pockets, and the Tigers are just left standing in the dust, man. So the thing is, Clemson, their defense is extremely well, but I really think they have a chance to win the ACC. But we'll just see how good Georgia Tech is, how good Clemson is. So the thing is, this is an extremely good outlook, and these days Clemson is really, a really good team, but they just unfortunately had to play, the number one team in the country. We'll just have to see how they fared for the rest of the season. They still have a shot. They still control their destiny. So even though this is a SEC team, I'm not gonna lie, Clemson absolutely got smacked in the second half of this game. Georgia performed like an unfinished product until accelerating at halftime. The Bulldogs were never in danger against an opponent that lacks the firepower it possessed years ago when Sweeney built a mini dynasty. Clemson football transfers, but Dabo Sweeney sat idle in this. Sweeney vowed a decade ago that he'd exit college football if the athletes started getting paid. He didn't make good on this pledge by treating the transfer portal like it carries, you know, a disease. But he's just the Clemson. They just Dabo Sweeney just doesn't believe in players getting paid, but he's quit assemble teams that compete with the elite. By the time wide receiver Colby Young supplied Georgia's first touchdown on the opening drive of the third quarter, the game felt decided despite the Bulldogs made a 13-0 lead. Clemson had proven it couldn't he couldn't move the ball against this Georgia defense. Young identically is a transfer like other top programs. Georgia uses the portal to supplement blue chip recruiting classes. So Clemson's 0-1, and this is really a hurt for Clemson, but it's against number one team, so we'll just have to see how they fare with the rest of the season. Sweeney didn't add a single transfer in the offseason. The Tigers needed a receiver to penetrate Georgia's defense and a better quarterback to deliver the passes, man. So, Kate Klubnik just doesn't have it. So he struggled mightily, throwing a pick near the end of the game. So he just looked like all sorts out. So we'll just have to see. What do you guys think how Clemson will fare for the rest of the season? So we will just have to see in time. So you guys give me your thoughts on what you think of this. So I really think Clemson will be fine. So based on how I saw how good that defense was. So just let me know, guys, what you think and how far do you think Clemson can make the ACC championship game? So they have a shot. Florida State already lost. So Georgia takes 1-0. So we'll just have to see if Georgia can win that game against Clemson going forward to the future. So we'll just have to see, man. Just give me what you guys think on your thoughts, man. So this is going to be the end of this one. And I appreciate you guys, man. Let's go. Week 1 already. Let's go, man.